Welcome to Danitra's channel, where it's all about Purrdie Burrdie, all about Purrdie Burrdie, all about Purrdie Burrdie. Hello, welcome to Danitra's channel, where it's all about Purrdie Burrdie. This is my very first episode, and I'm Danitra Hunter, and that is Purrdie Burrdie, and that painting and all the art in my art studio on my wall. In my world, it's all about Purrdie Burrdie, and so I've been wanting to, for years now, dedicate a channel solely to Purrdie Burrdie and sharing my journey and popping in as Purrdie Burrdie and all the things I do as the artist who created Purrdie Burrdie. I want this to be my space for my Purrdie people to find me and to follow along with the journey and become my Purrdie peeps. I am from Seattle, Washington. I am a self-taught artist. However, I did go to school and study fine art. I also studied graphic design. My roots, though, began just as a doodler. I consider myself a master doodleist. In my late 20s, a friend of mine noticed me doodling on a piece of paper and just was like, girl, you got talent. We got to go get you some art supplies. So we hopped on the bus, and she got me my first drawing pad and pencil. That began my journey. So thank you so much, LaVonda Turner. I appreciate you. You know, it's the little things that people notice in us that we may not even notice in ourselves. Well, that's what really put me on a journey of drawing and creating. In my early 30s, I was hired in, I would say, 2008-ish to work for a really fun program called Family Program for the YMCA. The reason I wanted to work at this job, free membership, and you could bring your kids to work and they could be in the job with you while you were working. And that is also thanks to a friend that I met through another friend who told me she worked at the Y, Marie Figgins. Thank you. She was like, girl, you get a free membership. You can bring your kids to work with you. And I was a stay-at-home mom, and so it was a no-brainer. I'm going to get a job there. And I did. And I'm still there. I'm still part-time. I started out, you only had to work 8 hours a month. And that was perfect for me because I didn't have to work. My husband worked and I just had to be home with the kids. And so I was like, I got to get out of this house. And so I did. I got me this little job and I was working 8 hours a month. And with that 8 hours a month came along with the free membership as well for my whole family. Me, my husband, and my 4 kids all had a free membership to the Y, and that was amazing. And I still have that free membership as a long-standing employee of the Y. Purrdie Burrdie was thought up at the Y because the program that I work for is called Family Programs, and that's where kids, you basically are watching children while their parents work out. And so I would watch kids and do art with kids. Mainly I would be at the art table or playing games. It was fun for me because I got to be a kid again working for this program. It was like, as a young mother, being at the Y really gave me so much. And this is why I'm still at this organization that I consider my second family. So I was able to color with the kids. And at that time, coloring with the kids was just fun because I've always loved to color as a little girl. That was like my favorite thing to do. Being at the Y gave me the love again for coloring that I actually just kind of buried deep within. Coloring with the kids, there was always a coloring page that was always requested, and that was Hello Kitty. All the little girls always wanted to color Hello Kitty. And also, they came dressed in Hello Kitty shirts and socks, and they had their umbrellas and their sweatsuits and bags and glasses and all these accessories. And I was just like, I hadn't even known who Hello Kitty was. I'm gonna be honest. My favorite character when I was a kid was Strawberry Shortcake. Strawberry Shortcake was my character, and I would always color her brown. There wasn't really characters for me that represented me as a brown girl is what I mean. So I would always color my characters brown like me, and I've always had pride in being a black girl. And with that said, back to Hello Kitty. So Hello Kitty, yes, all the little girls and their Hello Kitty coloring pages, that's what prompted me to inspire me. Well, I began like, oh my gosh, this character is extremely popular. These kids love her. And then I would find out all these adults loved her. Friends of mine, big fans of Hello Kitty. I now am a big fan of Hello Kitty, because without Hello Kitty, there will be no Purrdie Burrdie. So yes, I was like, I gotta create a character for kids to love, color, and wear too. And that's what got me on my journey. I began just kind of doodling a bird like character, and my mother's word was Purrdie. She'd be like, "You so purdy," like that was my mom's word. And I was like, Purrdie Burrdie, that's her name, and that's how she got her start. And I was like, I want to create a character for kids to color that represents something more than cute. And so that's where the thought bubble came, where it was Purrdie Burrdie, and then a little thought bubble that said, "Please love self." And so simple beginning, that's how she got it. And over the years at the Y, there were Purrdie Burrdie parties. We tried different things with Purrdie Burrdie. Now here I am, 2026, and still working on Purrdie Burrdie. Since then, I've created a book, Purrdie Burrdie I Love Myself, Can You See? Inspired by little black and brown girls who went to a school that I went to as a kid, and two of my kids went as well. It was when I was a kid, called High Point Elementary. When my kids went there, it's called West Seattle Elementary. So a friend of mine who worked for their before and after care program, and also worked for my family programs, we would work together sometimes at the Fauntleroy YMCA. She told me, Nasri, thank you, Nasri. She was like, "Girl, they're denying being black." And I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, they're black girls and they are ashamed to be black." That broke my heart. And I was like, that's why I created Purrdie Burrdie. Up until this time, I'd been drawing her for kids to color and doing, like, I started a coloring club at the Y, all kind of little things, and still kind of dreaming. Like, ever since I had the dream, it was like, I want this character to be big, like a self-love icon. That's still my goal, which is why I'm here, because people need to know she's here outside of my community. So that day I went and I wrote my very first version of my book, I Love Myself, is what it was called, but it is now Purrdie Burrdie I Love Myself, Can You See? And then that's a whole journey in itself of what I did to go to learn how to write a children's book, and then learning that my path was self-publishing, was going through this program called Storyteller Academy. I remember just praying, like, I don't know what to do next with this. And because it was just a short version, I wish I had it somewhere. I wrote it on just like a back of an envelope. But I do remember my daughter being like, "Mommy, you wrote a book? Wow." And it was a very simple book. But I would then go on to join this online group called Storyteller Academy. And that's where I had a mentor and a mentor group. Would do many versions. I created a dummy book, which is like a book that you can, it's basically like a version of your book you can shop to publishers and stuff. And I was learning about the publishing industry and all that through this Storyteller Academy, which was a blessing. And I remember feeling like, okay, this is it. Once I got my art ready and the manuscript, I just was like, this is the code. I cracked the code of Purrdie Burrdie and who she is and what she represents. It's time for me to get this in the world. And my mentor was really into publishing, like going through a traditional publisher. I had another mentor as well at that time. She was like, "Danitra, you just need to forget about that, and you need to just go on ahead and get your work in the world. And it's, you know, it's a new day, and you need to be, you know, getting that book in the world now so people can get it." It's also getting opportunities to read the book before I even finish, like the copy that I now have. I wrote my very first version on double-sided, kind of like accordion book, and one side of it, the book has words, and the other side of it is just art. I mean, they're both art, but one's just words, kind of like a wordless book. But it was a book that I was sharing my manuscript with. So at this time, it was like I had to make a decision, because once I had my meeting, and my mentor just wasn't impressed. He was just like, "Yeah, it's good, you know, it's okay." But he wanted he wanted more from Purrdie Burrdie. My book needed to be in the world. I knew, because I was getting opportunities to read the version, like I said, the accordion version. And I just, at that time, I was just like, I felt like he wasn't really supporting the work that I was doing and that it wasn't good enough. And that's when it was time to go, because my work was definitely good enough. And my book has been extremely fruitful. I'm a preschool teacher, so I had my own half-day classroom. It shut down because in 2020, COVID hit. And it was like March 10th or March 11th. That's when I stopped working. And then I got furloughed and was getting my unemployment. And so that's when I actually finished my book. I had the manuscript. Now I had the art that I was working on. And then I did a 45-day Kickstarter for my 45th birthday. The rest is history. My book is in the world. Purrdie Burrdie's in the world, still doing what she does. And Purrdie Burrdie teaches children the importance of self-love through that book. And so it was really important for me to get the book in the world. I am working on, so my book is called Purrdie Burrdie, I Love Myself. Can you see? That's my book. Then I have a book in portrait, which is that's what that painting is right there. So it's going to be it's my book painted, and I'm going to exhibit that. And then I'm going to do my book in motion, which is a collaboration with my daughter, who just recently graduated from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and stop motion is her specialty. I'm working on the art to create the puppets, and she's sewing the puppets, and she's going to 2D stop motion my book. And so that's going to be my book in motion. And then I'm going to do my book in theater, 4-part series of my work. And this channel is going to archive a bunch of the things that I'm up to. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining. My next episode is going to be me reading my book. I think I'm going to, just read it and have it in a program while I'm reading it, and then just kind of pop in and say, hey, please support my book. But please like, share, and subscribe. I know this was a bit lengthy, but that's my story. Please follow and like and share, and please subscribe. And please become a Purrdie Peep. I have a lot of good things that I'm working on. I dress up as Purrdie Burrdie. So my time I'll be on YouTube will be on Fridays. So look for your videos on Fridays. Turn on your notifications. That's where they're not gonna be as long as this. They're gonna just be me coming in and doing what I do. Either it's gonna be a tea party or affirmations or singing or whatever. But Purrdie Burrdie Fridays is a time for me to show up for myself as the artist of Purrdie Burrdie. It's something I created years ago as a preschool teacher, and it still to this day goes on Fridays. I have fun art activities that I do with the kids. Like, well, this last Friday I had my spinning wheel, I had my game, because I have all kind of goodies which are going to be packaged and sold as well in the near future. So this is a space for people to find me, to learn about me, and hopefully partner with me. All right. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Remember to love yourself in every way. You are a shining stellar star. Peace, love, and hugs to you.